Hello everyone, welcome to lecture 7, and in this lecture we shall be looking at development strategies. The objectives of this lecture are: describe the concept of software as a service, define Web 2.0 and cloud computing. 3. Explain software acquisition alternatives, including traditional and web-based software development strategies. 4. Describe software outsourcing options, including offshore outsourcing and the role of service providers. 5. Explain the advantages and disadvantages of in-house software development. 6. Discuss cost-benefit analysis and financial analysis tools. 7. Describe a request for proposal and a request for quotation. 8. Describe the system development documents, or system requirement documents rather. And finally, explain the transition from system analysis to system design. Earlier, certain work functions in the company required development of software by in-house efforts, employing the services of external entities. However, in today's organizations are following choices for software acquisition. For instances, application service providers, web hosted software options, firms that offer enterprise-wide software solutions. Selecting the best development path is very important for an organization. This sums up the development strategies that an organization can take. The impact of the internet. Software as a service, or SaaS, software development model, or it is a software deployment model that hosts an application as a service provided to customers over the internet. It reduces the customer's need for software maintenance, operations, and support. Thus, it reduces resource consumption. Traditional development method often comprised of in-house development. So let's have a look at traditional development method. System design is influenced by compatibility issues. Systems are designed to run on LANs and WANs. System often utilizes internet links and resources. Development typically follows one of the three main paths: in-house development, purchase of software package with possible modification, use of outside consultancies. Scalability is often affected by network limitations and constraints. Web-based development. Systems are developed and delivered on an internet-based framework. Treats the web as the platform rather than a communication channel. Web-based systems are easily scalable and can run on multiple hardware environments. Used for customer relationship management, order processing, and materials management. Treats software acquisition as services that are less dependent on desktop computing resources. Now, all these services are provided with the comfort achieved via the use of the internet. With web-based development, it requires additional layers called middleware. A middleware basically allows communication with existing software and legacy systems. Moreover, it connects dissimilar applications and enables them to communicate and exchange data. Now, web-based systems are more complex security systems and have a lot of complex security issues that should be addressed. The impact of the internet continued. Evolving trends. Web 2.0, cloud computing, and mobile devices. Web 2.0 is the second generation of the web that enables people to collaborate, interact, and share information much more effectively. Moreover, it enhances interactive experiences. Cloud computing, online software in which applications and services are accessed and used through an internet connection. Mobile devices, smartphones, tablets, and other computing devices that are not permanently tethered to a desk. Outsourcing. Now, outsourcing is the business practice of hiring a party outside a company to perform services or create goods that were traditionally performed by in-house members of an organization. Outsourcing is a practice usually undertaken by companies as a cost-cutting measure. Now, outsourcing involves transfer of information systems development, operation, or maintenance to an outside firm. Now, outsourcing, it started growing with the provision of service provider. A service provider offers outsourcing solutions, that is application service provider. Moreover, the application service provider delivers a software application or access to an application by charging a usage or subscription fee. The Internet Business Services, or IBS, also called as managed hosting, it provides web-based support for transactions. Outsourcing fees. There are three fee structures associated with outsourcing. First of all, fixed fee model uses a set fee based on a specified level of service and user support. Subscription model has a variable fee based on the number of users or workstations that have access to the application. Users model or transaction model charges a variable fee based on the volume of transactions or operations performed by the application. Some concerns related with outsourcing. Now, mission critical IT systems are outsourced if the result is cost attractive and reliable business solution. Overseas outsourcing can raise issues with control, culture, communication, and security. Reviewing the outsourcing firm's history and financial condition is very vital. Outsourcing clients can be affected by mergers and acquisitions. Employee job security is another major concern related with outsourcing. Other possible concerns related with outsourcing include lack of experience with outsourcing can lead to a lot of blunders, lack of expertise with outsourced tasks. Moreover, poor cost estimate, difficulty in choosing the right vendor, lack of cultural context, poor team management and communication. Selecting the appropriate outsourcing approach is very vital yet again. Offshore outsourcing. Offshore outsourcing is the process of outsourcing IT or IT-enabled processes and services to a service provider in a different country. It is a form of the outsourcing process that uses a service provider that is not in the same country and often not on the same continent as the company paying for the service. Offshore outsourcing is also called as global outsourcing, shifting IT development, support, and operations to other countries. The major reason for offshore outsourcing may include lower bottom line costs. However, there are risks and concerns associated with offshore outsourcing, which includes the impact on the economy, project control, and security issues. In-house development options, also known as insourcing. Insourcing development simply means developing software using the experts you have on hand at your company. You don't get any external help. All developers are employed by you and performing their tasks for you. The term also encompasses using other resources developed within the organization. Now, software development options, one of the very traditional method is developing your own systems, whereby the system is purchased, possibly customized and implemented into a software package. Most important consideration is the total cost of ownership. Companies can develop user applications based on commercial software packages. In-house software development options, make or buy decision. It refers to the choice between developing and purchasing. A company's IT department makes, builds, and develops in-house software. A software package is obtained from a vendor or application service provider. The decision to make to buy may depend on a number of factors. Example, the finances, hardware and software resource availabilities, expertise availabilities, skills availability, and the influence of the management team. Types of software packages include a software package itself, obtained from a vendor or application service provider. A software vendor is basically are the ones who develop software for sale. Value-added reseller or VAR enhances a commercial package by adding custom features and configuring it for a particular industry. Horizontal application can be used by many different types of organizations, example, payroll. Vertical application, developed to handle information requirements for a specific type of business, example, a hospital management system. Let's look at the table in the slide. Have a look at the reasons in more detail in the next set of slides. First of all, we look at the reasons for developing in-house software. Now, developing an in-house software satisfies unique business requirements. This is something that may not be possible with standard commercial software packages. It minimizes changes in business procedures and policies. Moreover, installing a new software package almost always requires some degree of change how a company does its business. The second reason for developing an in-house software is to meet constraints of existing systems. Any new software installed must work with existing systems. Moreover, an in-house software meets constraints of existing technology. The new system must work with existing hardware and the legacy systems. Legacy systems are those systems which already exist in the organization. Furthermore, developing an in-house software is done because it develops internal resources and capabilities. Companies can develop and train IT staff who understand the organization's business functions and support information needs. Developing an in-house software also lowers costs. A software package is less expensive than the one developed in-house. Moreover, it requires less time for implementation. Packages have already been designed, programmed, tested, and documented, and it requires very little time to get it implemented within the organization. Moreover, and finally, it proves reliability and performance benchmarks. Major problems would have been detected and corrected by the vendor. Purchasing a software package. It requires less technical staff or development staff. Companies can reduce the number of programmers and system analysis on the IT staff. Purchasing a software package, basically, it's way more easier for future upgrades by the vendor. Improvements and enhancements are included in the regular updates. Moreover, input from other companies, users in other companies can be contacted to obtain their input and their valuable opinions. The next option of development is customizing a software package. Now, why it is done? Purchase a basic package that vendors will customize to suit project requirements. Negotiate directly with the software vendor to make enhancements to meet project needs by paying for the changes. Purchase this package and make project-specific modifications. Now, it ensures modifications are permissible under the terms of the software license. Creating user applications. So when creating user applications, some of the things or the following things must be taken into account. User application utilizes standard business software. User interface enables effective interaction with the application. Service desk or information center provides user support. Screen generators and report generators allows users to design their own data entry forms and reports. Appropriate controls must be provided to ensure data security and integrity. Let's have a look at the example illustrated in the slide. Now, Microsoft Access provides some of these simple application assists. Now, this is generally done through the use of a form wizard, which guides and leads the users. So while developing a software, something similar is very, very necessary. The system analysis role. Based on decisions taken by the organization in the systems development process, current and future needs are always considered. Evaluation and selection of alternatives is a complicated process. Forecasting actual cost is often very, very difficult. Evaluation and selection team selects hardware and software, includes system analysis and users, ensures that critical factors are not overlooked and a sound choice is made. So these are some of the very basic roles of a system analysis while choosing a development strategy. Analyzing costs and benefit. Financial analysis tools for analyzing costs and benefits are payback analysis, return on investment, ROI, and net present value, NPV. Let's go and look at the definition for this. Payback analysis determines the time taken for an information system to pay for itself to reduce costs and increase the benefits. Return on investment, percentage rate that compares the total net benefits, the return received from a project, to the total costs of the project. Net present value, total value of the benefits minus the total value of the costs. Cost benefit analysis checklist. So these are some of the things that you must check while doing a cost benefit analysis. List each development strategy being considered. Identify all costs and benefits for each alternative. Consider future growth and the need for scalability. Include support costs for hardware and software. Analyze various software licensing options. Apply the financial analysis tools to each alternative. Study the results and prepare a report. The software acquisition process. So these are some of the steps that must be taken while trying to acquire a software. Evaluate this information system requirements. Some of the things that must be done in step 1 to evaluate the information system requirements are: identify key features, consider network and web related issues, estimate volume and future growth, specify hardware, software, or personnel constraints, Prepare a request for proposal or quotation. A request for proposal describes the company, lists the IT services or products needed, and specifies the features required. A request for quotation is more specific than a request for proposal. What it does, it tries to find out the costs that would be taken to get the IT services or products that are needed within the organization. Why study future growth for an organization? If you would have a look at the table illustrated in the slide, look at the current levels of customers, future growth based on existing procedures, and the future growth assuming new website is operational. This goes to about more than 90%, 90 to 95% increment in customers. So to ask the question again, why study future growth for an organization? The answer is very simple: to make the system as scalable as possible. Step 2, identify potential vendors or outsourcing options. The internet contains information on all major products and acquisition services. The organization can avail the services of a consulting firm that helps companies select software packages. Online forums or news groups provide opinions and ideas. Example, Yahoo Group and Google Group. Now, point number 2, one of the local examples, the point number 2, whereby organizations can avail the services of a consulting firm that help companies select software packages. Some common examples of such companies here in Fiji: first of all, Daytech, which helps in the acquisition of ERP systems. Secondly, you have UXC Eclipse. So that is another Australian-based company here in Fiji that helps you in the acquiring of ERP systems. Step 3 of software acquisition process is to evaluate alternatives. First of all, existing users provide feedback about their experiences. Application testing. Users in the organization may be able to test the product. Benchmarking. Now, benchmarking comes from the word benchmark, which measures the time a package takes to process a certain number of transactions. Step 4 of software acquisition process: perform cost-benefit analysis. To perform a cost-benefit analysis, first of all, identify and calculate total cost of ownership for each option being considered. Study the conditions of use that come along with the software license. If a software package is purchased, consider a supplemental maintenance agreement. Step 5, prepare recommendation. Evaluate and describe alternatives along with costs, benefits, advantages, and disadvantages. Once that is done, submit a formal report of the system's requirements document and deliver a presentation to the management team. Step 6, implement the solution. Implementation tasks will depend on the solution selected. Before the new software becomes operational, complete all implementation steps. Example, loading, configuring and testing the software, training users, converting data files to the new systems format rather. Completion of systems analysis tasks. Now, system requirements document is also called as systems or software requirements specification. It contains the requirement for the new system. It describes the alternatives considered, makes a specific recommendation to management. Now, a systems requirement document is very much similar to a contract, identifies items that developers must deliver to users. Format and organize a systems document in such a way that it is easy to read, use, and understand. Presentation to management. A presentation to the management helps take key decisions that affect the future development of the system and the organization as a whole. Suggestions for effective presentations include: start with a brief overview, summarize the primary viable alternatives, explain why the evaluation and selection team chose the recommended alternative, allow time for discussion, obtain a final decision from management, or agree on a timetable for the next step in the process. Depending on the management's decision, a systems analysis will do one of the following: implement an outsourcing alternative, develop an in-house system, purchase or customize a software package, perform additional system analysis work, or stop all further work. Post-presentation and management decision, this is where the project begins a transition to the systems design phase of the SDLC. Preparing for systems design. System design requires accurate documentation and detailed specifications for output, input, data, process, and other requirements need to be provided. Logical and physical design. Logical design defines what must take place. Physical design describes the actual process of entering, verifying, and storing data. Logical and physical designs are closely related, and an accurate system analysis is required in order to come up with logical and physical designs. Chapter summary. A new trend views software as a service rather than a product. Traditional systems must function in various hardware and software environments, be compatible with legacy systems, operate within the constraints of company networks and desktop computing capability. Companies that choose to handle their own software development needs can create in-house systems, commercially purchase software packages. The system analysis role in the software development process depends on the specification, development strategy, or specific development strategy. The most important factor in choosing a development strategy is the total cost of ownership. That is, how much cost would it incur to an organization to get a new system on board. Financial analysis tools include payback analysis, return on investment, and net present value. Acquiring software involves a series of specific steps. The system requirements document is the deliverable or end product of the system analysis phase. That finishes off our lecture 7 for the week. Thank you for listening, everyone.